Hello and welcome to MRCPsych on the Go Revision Essentials. My name is Dr. Alapis Ehrlicher and I'm a psychiatry trainee in the west of Scotland. Like many of you, I spent a lot of time commuting. This was valuable time that I could have spent revising for the MRCPsych examination. And so, I've started this podcast to help you revise on the go. Each episode breaks down one high-yield topic mapped to the syllabus. This is then followed by 5 questions to help reinforce your learning. So, grab your headphones, turn travel time into revision time, and let's get started. In the previous episodes, we explored personality theories, including trait and type approaches, and Jung's analytical psychology. In this episode, we turn to motivation, exploring why individuals behave as they do, and what drives goal-directed behaviour. Motivation refers to the internal processes that initiate, direct, and sustain goal-directed behaviour. It explains why individuals act, what they are striving towards, and how long they persist in pursuit of a goal. Psychologists have proposed 2 broad categories of motivational theory. Extrinsic motivation, where behaviour is driven by external rewards or the need to reduce discomfort. It focuses on biological drives, reinforcement, and restoring balance. In contrast, intrinsic motivation refers to behaviour driven by internal interest, curiosity, or enjoyment. It focuses on personal satisfaction and the natural desire for stimulation and challenge. Remember, motivation refers to internal processes that initiate, direct, and sustain goal-directed behaviour. Extrinsic motivation pushes behaviour through external forces, while intrinsic motivation pulls behaviour through internal interest. Let's begin with extrinsic motivation. The drive reduction theory, proposed by the psychologist Clark Hull in 1943. Hull proposed that behaviour is motivated by the need to reduce internal tension caused by biological drives. Primary drives are innate, biological needs that arise from physiological states. These include hunger, thirst, pain avoidance, and the need for sleep. When these needs are unmet, a drive state is created, which motivates the individual to act in order to restore balance. For example, when the body is deprived of food, the hunger drive increases. This motivates food-seeking behaviour. Once food is consumed and the need is met, the drive is reduced and the behaviour stops. Secondary drives are learned drives that develop through association with primary drives. For example, a person may develop a drive for money because money has been associated with obtaining food, shelter, and other primary needs. Over time, secondary drives can become powerful motivators in their own right, even when the original primary need is not immediately present. Interestingly, Hull was famous for trying to turn psychology into a precise science. He expressed his theory through a formal equation to predict behaviour. You don't need to learn this equation for the exam. While Hull's theory was a massive milestone, it couldn't explain everything. For example, it doesn't explain why people go skydiving or watch horror movies, activities that increase tension and arousal rather than reducing it. Remember, primary drives are innate biological needs such as hunger and thirst. Secondary drives are learned through association with primary drives and can become independent motivators. Central to drive reduction theory is the concept of homeostasis. Homeostasis refers to the body's tendency to maintain a stable internal environment. When internal conditions deviate from an optimal level, The resulting imbalance creates a drive that motivates corrective behaviour. For example, a drop in blood glucose signals the need for food. A loss of body fluid signals the need for water. Once the need is met and balance is restored, the motivating drive is reduced. This model frames motivation as a push system. Behaviour is pushed by internal deficits that the organism is motivated to resolve. Remember, homeostasis is the body's tendency to maintain internal stability. Drive reduction theory proposes that deviations from homeostasis create drives that motivate corrective behaviour. The hypothalamus plays a central role in regulating primary drives, particularly hunger and satiety. Two regions of the hypothalamus are particularly important. The lateral hypothalamus is the eurexigenic centre. It functions as the primary hunger centre, initiating appetitive behaviour. Stimulation of this region increases feeding behaviour. Bilateral destruction of this region leads to aphagia, refusal to eat, and adipsia, refusal to drink. The ventromedial hypothalamus is the anorexigenic centre. It functions as the satiety centre, terminating feeding behaviour once nutritional requirements are met. Damage to this area disrupts the satiety signalling pathway, leading to hypophagia. These regions respond to signals from the body, including blood glucose levels, hormones such as leptin and ghrelin, and gut-derived signals. Leptin is released by fat cells and signals satiety, reducing appetite. As lipid stores increase, leptin levels rise, binding to receptors in the arcuate nucleus of the hypothalamus. This inhibits orexigenic pathways and decreases long-term food intake. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone. It is released by the fundus of the stomach and signals hunger, stimulating appetite. I use the H in ghrelin to symbolise hunger. Hence, ghrelin signals hunger. This feedback loop represents an example of negative feedback. Remember, the lateral hypothalamus promotes hunger, while the ventromedial hypothalamus promotes satiety. Hormones such as leptin and ghrelin regulate these hypothalamic systems. Understanding drive theory and hypothalamic regulation is clinically relevant to conditions involving disrupted appetite and motivation. For example, dysregulation of hypothalamic satiety signals is implicated in obesity, anorexia nervosa, and hypothalamic tumours. Secondary drives also help explain the development of addiction, where substances become powerful motivators through their association with reward and drive reduction. Now, let's test your recall. I will read out 5 exam-style questions. After each one, I will pause for 10 seconds so you can attempt them before hearing the answer. Question 1. What is a primary drive? An innate biological need such as hunger or thirst that motivates behaviour. Question 2. How do secondary drives develop? Through association with primary drives. Question 3. According to Hull's drive reduction theory, what motivates behaviour? The need to reduce internal tension caused by biological drives and restore homeostasis. Question 4. Which hypothalamic region is associated with hunger? The lateral hypothalamus. And finally, question 5. Which hormone signals satiety and reduces appetite? Leptin. Let's summarise what we have learned today. Motivation refers to internal processes that drive and sustain goal-directed behaviour. The drive reduction theory by Hull proposes that behaviour is motivated by the need to reduce tension caused by biological drives. Primary drives are innate biological needs, while secondary drives are learned through association with primary needs. Homeostasis describes the body's drive to maintain internal balance, with the hypothalamus playing a central role in regulating hunger and satiety through systems involving leptin and ghrelin. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone, stimulating appetite. Leptin is the satiety hormone, decreasing food intake. In the next episode, we will explore intrinsic theories of motivation, including curiosity and optimal levels of arousal. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of MRCPsych on the Go Revision Essentials. I hope this episode helped to move your revision forward. If you have any questions or just want to continue the discussion, you can find me on LinkedIn at MRCPsych on the Go, spelled MRCPysch on the go. This podcast is about making revision accessible. If you found it useful, liking and sharing it with others helps the goal more than anything else. That's it for today. I'm Dr. Alapas Ehrlicher, and as always, keep revising on the go.